9-year-old Emily Parker stood outside the small neighborhood bakery, her simple pink dress fluttering slightly in the evening breeze. Her brown hair was pulled back into a neat ponytail, secured with a faded ribbon she had owned for years. She looked down at her open palm and counted again, just to be sure. $1, $2, 3, 4, 5, $5. That was all she had to buy a birthday cake for her mom. Emily closed her fingers around the money and took a deep breath. Today was not just any day. It was her mom's birthday, the first one since her dad passed away. Her mom had said they didn't need anything special, that birthdays were just another day. But Emily knew better. Birthdays mattered. Straightening her pink dress, she pushed the bakery door open. A small bell jingled overhead. Warm air filled with a scent of sugar, vanilla, and freshly baked bread wrapped around her like a hug. The glass display case shimmered with beautiful cakes. Tall chocolate cakes dripping with frosting, soft vanilla layers topped with flowers, and bright cupcakes lined up like tiny celebrations. Emily's heart sank. She already knew $5 wouldn't be enough. Still she walked forward. Behind the counter stood Mrs. Bennet, the baker, wiping her hands on her apron. When she noticed Emily, her face softened. "Well, hello there, sweetheart," she said warmly. "What can I get for you today?" Emily swallowed. How much is the smallest birthday cake?" Mrs. Bennet glanced at the display. "The smallest cake is $18. Emily nodded slowly, pretending that was fine. She looked down at her pink shoes, then back up. "What about cupcakes?" she asked. "They're $3 each." Emily's eyes lit up for a moment, then dimmed. "Can you write Happy Birthday, Mom on it?" she asked quietly. Mrs. Bennet hesitated, then smiled. "I can write it with chocolate syrup. That part's free." Emily let out a breath of relief. "Thank you. And candles," she added, almost whispering. Mrs. Bennet paused, then reached into a drawer. "I'll give you one." Emily carefully placed her crumpled $5 bill on the counter like it was something precious. As Mrs. Bennet packed a single chocolate cupcake into a small white box and wrote the message on top, Emily glanced around the bakery. Couple laughed over coffee. A little boy clapped while his parents sang softly around a cupcake. Emily turned away quickly. She didn't want to cry. Not today. At a corner table near the window sat Robert Hale, staring at a cup of coffee he hadn't touched. At 48, Robert was the CEO of one of the largest construction firms in the country. His life was filled with meetings, contracts, and endless responsibility. His name appeared in business magazines. His bank account was enormous. Yet today he felt painfully empty. It had been exactly 2 years since his daughter passed away. He hadn't told anyone. He hadn't cancelled meetings. He had simply walked until his feet hurt, until he found himself standing in this bakery, the same one his daughter used to beg him to visit every Saturday. Then he noticed Emily. He watched her pink dress, her careful ponytail, the way she clutched the small cake box with both hands like it was the most important thing in the world. When he saw the words written on top, "Happy Birthday, Mom," his chest tightened. He remembered a little girl once standing on her toes, hair in a ponytail, asking him if they could buy the biggest cake because Mommy deserves it. Without realizing it, Robert stood up. "Hey," he said gently as Emily reached the door. She turned, startled, her ponytail swaying. "I'm sorry," he added quickly. "I didn't mean to scare you." "It's okay," Emily said softly. "That cake, it's for your mom." Emily nodded. "Yes, she works 2 jobs. She says birthdays don't matter, but I know they do." Robert crouched down to her level. "They do," he said quietly. "What's her favorite flavor?" "Chocolate," Emily said instantly. "She says it makes hard days better." Robert closed his eyes for a brief moment. "So did my daughter," he said softly. Emily tilted her head. "Where is she now?" Robert swallowed. "In my heart." Emily nodded like that made perfect sense. Robert turned back toward the counter. "I'd like to order a cake," he said. "The biggest chocolate one you have." Mrs. Bennet looked at him, then at Emily. Understanding filled her eyes. "Would you like a message?" she asked. "Yes," Robert replied. "The same one." When the cake was ready, Mrs. Bennet carried it out herself. Emily stared at it, eyes wide. "That's not mine," she said quickly. "It is," Mrs. Bennet replied gently. "A friend wanted your mom to have a whole cake." Emily looked at Robert, tears already forming. "You did this." He smiled softly. "I just helped a little." Emily hugged the cake box, then surprised Robert by hugging him. "Thank you," she whispered. Robert stood frozen for a moment before hugging her back. It was the first hug he had felt in 2 years. That night, Linda Parker came home exhausted, her shoulders heavy from a long shift at the diner. As she kicked off her shoes, she heard excitement in her daughter's voice. "Mom, close your eyes." Linda smiled tiredly. "Emily, I'm exhausted." "Please," Emily begged, standing there in her pink dress, ponytail slightly messy from the day. Linda closed her eyes. "Open." When she did, she froze. A full chocolate cake sat on the small kitchen table, candles glowing softly. "Oh, Emily," Linda whispered, tears spilling down her cheeks. "How did you?" Emily hugged her tightly. "You deserve it." They shared the cake that night, laughing, crying, remembering. For the first time in a long while, the apartment felt warm again. A week later, Linda received a letter. Inside was a handwritten note and a business card. "Your daughter reminded me that kindness still matters. If you ever need help, not as charity but as opportunity, please call Robert Hale." Linda hesitated. Then she called. That call changed everything. Robert quietly helped Linda enroll in a nursing program she had once dreamed of but never thought possible. He covered the tuition without conditions, insisting Emily never feel like she owed him anything. Linda became a nurse. Emily grew taller, stronger, more confident, still wearing ponytails, though now with brighter ribbons. And Robert, he became family. On Emily's high school graduation day, she hugged him tightly. "Thank you for walking into that bakery," she said. Robert smiled through tears. "No," he replied. "Thank you for bringing me back to life. 'Cause sometimes, a $5 bill, pink dress, and a child's love are enough to change everything."